Today we're launching Action Week. So hi guys, welcome back to a new episode. My name is Manny. You can find me on our Facebook page at Retutpro. In today's episode, we're introducing you guys to Toby, our BMX rider here, and we're going to retouch this awesome portrait of this BMX rider. Then as well, this week we're launching Action/Powder Action Week. We basically created again a few pro tutorials for you as well, which are up on retutpro.com. But the site isn't online yet. We are still working pretty hard on this site, so soon it will be up. Anyways, you can get those pro tutorials there as well. And today we have this free tutorial here for you where we're retouching Toby, the BMX rider. On Wednesday, we're gonna have a behind the scenes from Powder Action, so stay tuned for that. And I think it's enough of the talking. Let's do the tutorial. Yeah, cool. Okay, so as you guys can see, I've already imported the layer again as just a normal basic into Photoshop, so I've got it already in my basic layer palette here. Alright, so let's get started. What do I also want to do to this image? First of all, I do want to clean this image up a little bit. Over here we have a bit of a distracting stuff, the stone, also these things over the wheel here, maybe the cables. So first of all, clean this up just a little bit. The lamppost over here as well with this chair, I don't know what happened actually on this track, is also a little bit distracting, so also want to get rid of that. So I think the best way to get rid of this whole area and also to calm something in is to actually copy this tree from here, and we're going to place it over here. Okay, great. Then as well, I also want to add a little bit of a flare here coming from the back, maybe somewhere over here between the tree and the mountain. Yeah, and just add a nice orange flare to that as well. Then we're going to work a little bit on contrast. We're going to clean him up a little bit, just work a bit with dodge and burning, and yeah, get an overall color grade as well. Alright, so let's get started with that right away. So I'm going to create a new empty layer and rename this now to healing and cloning if you want to. I'm just going to write healing for the moment. Okay, with Z, I'm going to zoom in and just fairly here in the back start now with S with clone stamp tool. I'm also rotating here my brush again on my Vacuum 5 Pro tablet. Again, I'm working with this tablet, and via the wheel I can change the brush size, or press Ctrl Alt together, and you can go left and right, make that smaller or bigger, or go up and down and also feather your brush. So I'm literally going to change the hardness maybe just to 20%, make it also a little bit smaller, and again, if you don't have this guys, you can also use the brackets here on your keyboard to also make it bigger or smaller. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do now as well is hold Alt, sample an area close by, and just literally here over the sand going to brush out these weird ugly things. Okay, so we are very lucky that this is just, again, I'm just sampling with Alt, always a close area by. As you guys can see, now I'm sampling and just literally brushing very roughly over this. As well, I'm brushing on a single layer, as you guys can see here on an empty layer, but my clone stamp tool is set under my options here at the top under all layers. So it's literally working on all layers. Just ensure that that is set on yours as well. Okay, back to what I wanted to say is I'm working here just on sand, so it's very simple again with sand cleaning up stuff. Texture is also very simple, so it is very easy doing this on sand. Okay, I'm going to clean up a little bit further here as well at the bottom. Again, hold Alt, sample an area close by, and literally just brushing out the biggest pieces now. Okay, this weird plastic thing over here, I want to get rid of that as well. Okay, let's sample this out. Okay, here's another pattern. So I'm trying to also don't do too much texture and duplicate texture. So I'm just copying from this area, then I copy from here, copy from there, and just paint over here and try not to replicate textures. Okay, I'm going to copy now from this little brick or little stick, whatever you want to call this. Okay, let's see if we can actually get away with this and try to replicate another stick over here. Okay, I'm going to copy a little bit from the top. Okay, something like that. Doesn't look too good. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so a little stick over there. Maybe we can leave that as well. We can check later if we still want to clean that up. As well, I do want to clean up here this big stone. So I'm literally going to press S again for clone stamp tool, make my brush a little bit bigger this time. Hold Alt again, sample an area close by, maybe even a little bit higher. Okay, and now I'm literally just brushing left and right over this. So literally just copying exactly the same sand patterns as from the left side. Okay, I'm just a little bit Also brushing over the shadow, then a little bit over here, and now just fixing the edge up a little bit so it doesn't look too much copied. Okay, a little bit more, and press J for healing brush, and now I'm going to smudge this little edge over here. So hold Alt, sample this area close by, and I'm literally just smudging over this a little bit over here, and again hold Alt, and I'm holding Alt quite a lot now. Literally always just smudge or sample and paint, sample and paint. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit again, and you guys can obviously do that a little bit neater than I did. I'm just doing this super quick now because otherwise the tutorial is going to get way too long, and I guess you guys already know about this whole cleaning up stuff. Okay, I'm going to zoom a little bit closer in here, and as well going to do the same process now on the wheel. So again, S for clone stamp tool, going to make my brush a little bit smaller, hold Alt, sample again, first of all just a little bit here from the wheel. Okay, and hold Alt again and sample the top part. Okay, and I'm literally just brushing over here. Okay, now I'm sampling a little bit further away and just also brushing this. Hold Alt from the left side and also again Alt. Cool, and I'm just brushing over this like mad. Taking all of that out. Okay, great. A little bit further. Okay, and I'm going to sample again this little black line over here. Okay, now I do want to copy a little bit here from the wheel as well. So what I'm going to do is press P for pen tool, and I'm literally just going to make a few paths over here. So click, click, and we're literally going to just make a square, complete that path. I'm going to hit right click, say make a selection, and going for zero feathering as well at the moment. Hit OK. We've got the selection now in here, but we can't literally copy the selection from our healing layer, so we have to copy from our basic layer. So I'm going to press Command Z and Command V, duplicate paste that, and I'm literally just going to move it to the top. Also press V for move tool, and now let's move this little piece just a little bit over here. I'm also going to press Command T to just rotate that slightly, okay, like so, and move that a little bit over again. Okay, great. And now we can actually merge that down and then as well copy again a few more pieces. I'm actually going to press Command J just to duplicate that step again. Okay, and this is obviously a little pattern over here, so let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to delete it again, press again P for pen tool, switch also layer off, layer 1 off, and I'm literally just going to copy this area now. So again in here, okay, maybe like so, and hit right click again, make a selection, zero feathering once again, basic Command Z, Command V, so we duplicated that again. Okay, switch on the rest, and we can basically move this over now, our layer 2, switched also layer 1 on. Okay, and again press Command T, rotate that a little bit. Okay, accept that, there we see it. I'm going to take the move tool and just move it slightly down, like so. Okay, let's also repeat that step again, so Command J, I'm just duplicating that layer, I want to move it here to the top, rotate that even further, so just a little bit further. Okay, so it fits in with the patterns over here, and as you guys can see, that looks kind of nice. Now at the moment I did copy this little text over here and the little fonts here from the wheel, so bear in mind that you don't copy that, you have to fix that, or rather copy an area from here from the top. I'm going to leave it actually now, or maybe I can even work around it. But before we do that, I'm going to take layer 1, layer 2, and all of these layers and healing, press right click and just say merge layers. So we're merging all together again to one. Double tap on here and just write healing. Okay, great. And now we have again a new healing layer. Obviously, first of all, also before you merge all, you can obviously clean those things up a little bit. I'm going to leave it now like this. I'm also going to press S for clone stamp tool and just copy this area over here and literally just brush this in a little bit so we're getting rid of the text. Yeah, and just clean this up a little bit. Okay, a little bit more here. Also this pattern art. Okay, that's just a super quick way actually of how to get this out. So again, next time if you do this, maybe take a little bit more time. Okay, and I'm literally just brushing also out this a little bit deeper, so maybe just until over here, so it's not too distracting on the wheel. Okay, this as well, we can also clean up this. Literally just brushing over here. Okay, that's a little bit too far in. So again, I'm just going to go over here, brush that out. And this is obviously a process. I'm doing it just really roughly and really quickly at the moment. So do take your time with this. Okay, a little bit further, and I'm just going to go down a bit. Okay, not the perfect wheel. Let's go a little bit in here. Okay, that nobody's going to notice that. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out again, and that's again your tire just fixed, and you can obviously also do it for all these little things here. And we can also retouch this guy out. So this guy over here, this long, it's a bit distracting, so I'm going to hold S again, clone stamp tool, just make my brush a little bit bigger, hold Alt, and I'm literally just brushing really roughly over this. Okay, just fixing again a bit more these textures that we just copied again. Okay, over here as well. Great, maybe the stone. So again, I would sit here most probably for half an hour and just clean up my image a little bit and check that everything looks kind of decent and nice. As well here for the back, I'm not going to do that now. It's going to get way too long, the tutorial. As well, all these little things over here, we can all retouch those out and clean the image up. Okay, maybe just a little bit over here. So it's not too distracting. Okay, that's a bit too rough. Again, clone from the back, something like that. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, as well over here. Okay, great. So let's also check now on our model a little bit. So I'm going to press zooming, also clone stamp tool again with S. Literally going to make it a little bit smaller and just going to paint out this dot over here. Okay, while we're in the healing and cloning phase, I'm also going to go run through the image here a little bit and just check if he's clean overall and everything looks kind of nice, suits it a little bit. Okay, so literally just cleaning up dust marks and a few dusts or a few dots here on the pants. Okay, let's go over a little bit. And I'm also going to clean up his skin a little bit, just literally a little bit. Okay, now I'm still working with the clone stamp tool and we're making these weird dots over here, which I don't want. So I'm going to take the healing brush tool, make this a little bit smaller. Okay, and literally just again clean this up as well. Okay, just a little bit. I don't need to do too much on it. Don't want to create a complete new person. Okay, maybe this little dot over here, it's a little bit red. Okay, a little bit on the beard here. We're going to just retouch that a few points. And I don't want to take out all these wrinkles here in areas. I just want to leave it actually so it does give the whole portrait just a bit more character. Okay, a little bit over here, so just a little bit. Okay, hold Alt again, and I'm just sampling again with clone stamp tool, just sampling all these areas. So don't take out the wrinkles, just cleaning it up a little bit. Okay, maybe on the helmet, if you want to go all the way, you can also still do that and just clean everything up. As you guys most probably know already from my retouchings as well, I pay a lot of attention to little details. So that I just think that if you retouch all the little details, it just makes your image overall way much better and way much cleaner. Yeah, and just pops a little bit better. Okay, so again, spend a bit of time here. I'm doing it really roughly. Okay, almost done. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out again a little bit. And that's again our before and after here. We can also have a control over that. There's still something here on the arm. Maybe just something small. I'm just going to retouch that. Clean that up a little bit. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit again. And now first of all, also want to clean up here just the, again, our before and after, before and after. It looks already a little bit better. It's still a big smudge over here, so be a little bit more careful when you do that, not like me, very roughly, so that that looks a little bit better. Also over here, what I want to do now is as well just clean up this whole area from the pole. So I'm going to take the lasso tool and just make a rough selection around here. Don't worry about the tree, and as well down here, because I want to work now in that selection. So just made a rough selection just with a normal lasso tool. I'm going to press S for clone stamp tool, make my brush super big. Okay, also going to press Control Alt, go left and right so you can actually change the brush size quicker. But I'm going to go all the way to 0, so I don't want to have the hardness set to 0 actually. Okay, maybe the brush a little bit smaller once again. Okay, hold Alt, and I'm sampling now this mountain here at the back, simply just going over to this pole, and okay, I'm a little bit too close now, that's why I'm sampling too much. So again, press Command Z, go step back, and I'm literally too close here, so I'm going to sample a little bit more from the back here. Again, hold Alt, so sample exactly on the mountain. Okay, and now it's easier for me to brush. As you guys can see, now the whole pole is not too much in the way. Okay, I'm literally just making a duplicate here, and as well also I can see there's a bit still here from the pole, so I'm literally going to just make a bit more over here and brush that out. Okay, as well from the sky here, so again on the mountain is my reference point, and then just starting again with the mountain. Okay, I'm also going to press now with my clone stamp tool maybe just 50% opacity, or maybe even 80% opacity. Just press 8 on your keyboard, or you can also go here to the top and change the opacity as well. I'm going to hold Control Alt, just check. Okay, hardness still 0. We can make the brush a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm also going to hold S, clone stamp tool, hold Alt, sample an area, and I'm literally now just brushing again here over this whole pole. A little bit more. Okay, hold Alt again, go a little bit down. And the reason why I'm also changing brush size now is so that this blue from the sky fades and bleeds in a little bit better with the existing blue. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, we can also fix this down here a little bit. Okay, a little bit more. And that's actually fine already. Now I'm going to press Command D, get out of the selection, and you guys will directly see it here. We've got a bit of an edge here because this blue is lighter than this blue. So what I'm going to do is press 5 for 50% opacity, hold Alt again, and sample now a blue color here from the top. So again Alt, and literally just brush that just a little bit back. Okay, great, not even more. Now this I'm still going to fix here with some of the trees here. I'm just going to select a rough tree. Maybe we can take actually the top one here. So I'm going to hold Alt, also press 00 on the keyboard, so making my opacity again back to 100%. Okay, hold Alt, sample this tree, and literally just brush that in. Okay, and we're brushing a little bit too big. Our brush is a little bit big. So I'm going to press Command Z, a step back, make my brush half the size, hold Alt, and start sampling again this tree over here. So we get a little bit from the blue background, and just try to get rid of this pole here. Okay, again, I'm going to sample maybe just a little piece from here. Okay, let's have a look if I'm going to sample this in. A bit tougher. Okay, something like that. That looks okay. I'm also doing this roughly now like this because I'm also going to copy this whole tree and merge that on top, so you won't really see this little edge over here or the little bleeding area there. Okay, so we clean that up a little bit over this. We're going to still add now the tree. So I'm happy with all my cleaning up phase and with the pre-start of cleaning. If I wouldn't do this now for a tutorial, I would sit and also still clean up here at the bottom, this whole thing, also this thing, and yeah, just clean up way more. Okay, but I don't want to keep you guys too long with this now. So I'm going to switch back to basic and continue with the next steps. So basically on the basic layer, I'm going to press again lasso tool, and I'm just going to make a really rough cut out here from this tree. And also a little bit of the ground and something like this, combine the whole selection, and again we have a selection. Now on the basic layer I'm going to press Command Z and Command V, duplicate paste that. Okay, so as you guys can see now we have copied this. I'm also going to move this to the top, and maybe we can just write here tree 1. I'm going to make a duplicate of that and write tree 2. Okay, so why am I doing that? First of all, because the tree 2, I can actually put this to a different blending option, to darken. And if I switch that to darken, let me just show it to you guys over here, darken. If I'm going to move this over now, you will see that everything that is obviously white pixels and is bright will fall away, and everything that has dark pixels will still be visible. The same obviously if you change this with lighten. If you have something that's bright, as you guys can see now, all the white pixels are showing and the light pixels that have are bright, and all the dark pixels disappear. So this is a pretty cool blending option here. Just darken, and I'm already getting rid of all the background here. Okay, great. Let's press Command Z, and again a few steps. I actually want to move it back. Blending option, move. Yep, over here. So we just have it on the same position again. So what I'm going to do is take both of these layers and try to transform them. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and we're going to flip them horizontally. So they're both on the left side now. Okay, let's take both layers and we're going to just move the tree over a little bit. Okay, let's have a look where we can place this tree. Somewhere maybe over here. Okay, and if you want to, you can also create it a double tree, so it doesn't look like you copying exactly the same tree as from here. So you place another tree behind a tree. Hope that makes sense. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to turn off tree 1. We have tree 2 there already. And I want to zoom a little bit closer and show you guys something quickly. You guys can see that we have a bit of this weird edge going on here. That's because also we still have a white halo edge around the tree. So I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to double click here on tree layer. And just down here, take for your blend if mode, hold Alt, and just take the blend if and just drag that a little bit out. So as you guys can see, we're disappearing, or that halo is disappearing a little bit. Okay, so I'm turning it all the way to 18%. And then you guys can see it also looks a bit cleaner now. Okay, so that we saved already. We already merged that in nicely. But at the bottom, we still need to work on that. So again, what I'm going to do is turn on layer 1 here, tree, and also create a hidden mask on that. Okay, so just hold Alt, select the mask icon, and you created the hidden mask. Now what I want to do is also create the same on top, but just with a normal mask. So I'm just going to hold again the mask icon, or press the mask icon, then we have a normal mask. B for the brush. And the brush works pretty much also like with also clone stamp and healing brush. I can turn it on my wheel here, change the brush size, or hold Control Alt left and right to make this bigger or smaller, up and down to feather my brush. So again, hardness, we're going to work again about 20%, and as well black foreground color if you're painting on a white mask. So literally black, and I'm going to just go to the top here. Again, my opacity is also still set to 50%, so change it all the way to 100%. And because we already have this at the top, I wanted to start at the bottom. So again, tree 1 actually. And we're brushing it out still from the top. So again, white foreground color, and we're literally just brushing. We can actually turn this off. Okay, we're brushing and nothing is really happening. Why that? Oh yes, because we are painting on the actual layer and not on the mask. So literally just go 2 steps back. Okay, and switch off again this layer. Select the mask this time. And also it's hidden, so you don't literally see it. I'm going to press again, switch my foreground colors to white, and I'm just brushing here at the bottom and just slowly brushing in the tree. Okay, a little bit further, and there's our copied area. I'm going to switch foreground colors again, black, and we're hiding a little bit. Literally now I'm just brushing in a little bit of this ground here from the tree. Okay, make it a little bit bigger. Again, we get a little bit of this sand here in the front. Also make this a little bit bigger, my brush. So I'm painting with a very feathered brush and just brushing it in slowly over here. Okay, over here I'm going to switch again with X. I do want to keep all of that detail in. Switch again with X and just literally brush this little area. Okay, and nobody's going to notice that. Okay, switch again. You want to paint here at the top. Literally until you have covered the mountain. Okay, until you see a little bit of sky coming through. So over here I'm still going to add this in. Okay, switch again with X. And we're literally brushing these out. So you don't want to have this copied area. There's also a lot of green behind it, so it's actually easy. Okay, comping all of this out, maybe a little bigger. We're going to turn on the layer 2 now again, and then we can see how that will work with the bottom part. So again, layer 2 on top, and there you guys can see it already. It works perfectly. We can actually just brush this out a little bit again. Okay, and there we already merged in the tree as well. So over here, obviously, from layer 1, we still have, or sorry, layer 2, from the tree, we still have the bottom, so we have to erase that on the mask. So again, hidden or black foreground color, B for brush, 100% opacity, and I'm literally just down here going to brush that out, really roughly as well. Okay, a little bit too far. Switch foreground colors and just brush that area back. Okay, great. So there already we have our tree as well. We can hold Command now, select both of these layers, press Command G, and I'm just going to write here tree. Let's also take healing, Command G, and I'm just writing here healing. So again, we have a little bit of a cleaned up PSD file and stuff is sorted. Okay, so again, tree, you can also duplicate this step now. So obviously you have 2 trees maybe. That's what I said earlier. So you can move 2 trees and try to make a few new branches in here. Again, with your brush on your masks, and you can try to build a little bit of a new tree. I'm not going to do this now. It's going to get way too long. Okay, for the next step that I also want to do is just add a little bit of a brightened curve. As you guys can see, this is a little bit contrasty and looks a little bit very contrasty already. And if you normally shoot into a sun flare, your whole image has a little bit of a dull, very bright look to it. Go to adjustments and also a curves adjustment layer over here. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And we're actually just going to take the dark areas and the dark pixels and just push them up a little bit and brighten them a little bit up. I'm also going to do a little bit of a curve, so we're pushing the highlights not too much width. Okay, a little bit further. So we're flattening it a little bit, as you guys can see, before and after, before and after. Okay, so I want to flatten this a little bit because I'm going to add a flare now right onto the top. Okay, so either we can also work with a plugin called Filter, and it's called Red Giant Software Knoll Light Factory. This is a very cool filter to get some awesome flare effects. So I guess most of you don't have this Knoll Light Factory filter, so let's also try a different method. So what I'm going to do is go again to the new adjustments down here and select a gradient adjustment. Okay, and also showed this again in some previous tutorials. I'm going to switch again here my gradients and just select a new gradient that I've created a few days ago. Again, set my whole gradient here to a new gradient, so basically going from white, a bit brighter yellow, and as well an orange, darker red, and then a black. Okay, the reason why we're also working in this system is because we can invert the whole gradient. First of all, let's hit OK over here. As well, I'm going to hit reverse and also change the style to radiant. So as you guys can see now, the outside is dark, which we basically can switch to screen then, and then we will have a really nice, it's obviously just going to show all the lightened areas. In the center we've got a bit of a sun, and then obviously a bit of these flares degrading here and giving us a really nice sun effect. I'm going to hit OK as well, and we already have our gradient. I'm going to hit right click on here and say rasterize. So the reason for that is that I can actually move this layer around now and put the flare into the position I want to. As well, it's still black, so just change the blending option from normal to screen. And there you guys can already see it. We already have a pretty awesome flare effect in here. Okay, so now you can still move it around, put it to some positions, whatever you want to do it. I want to put it right over here somewhere. So it's literally just behind his fingers, or coming through there as well. Okay, I'm going to turn the opacity down a little bit. Maybe actually keep the opacity up. I do love the fact that it's really bright in the center, but I'm going to work a little bit here on the mask. So again, B for brush, black foreground color, and maybe let's just work with around, say, 20% opacity. We can always change that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, take the brush and make it really big. So something like this. Okay, I'm also going to hold Control Alt together. Just check my hardness should be set to 0, and again brush size, we can change that. Okay, so what do I want to do now with this? I don't want to paint like this with the center around the whole sun flare here. I actually just want to go with the outside very carefully around here, because over here it does look a bit fake. So again, 20% opacity, literally just a little bit, just brushing that out just a bit. Okay, a little bit further, and this is working a little bit. Okay, a little bit further. I'm going to top. I'm actually going to leave it. It's just more or less at the bottom. Okay, a little bit more. And also here over the wheel. A little bit further. Kind of this already. Maybe a little bit in here. Okay, that is rendering for us, and let's have a look here if we're going to change before and after again, before and after. So again, just a little flare in that. Bear in mind, we're still going to add another color cast right over the whole image while we're still in the process now. So in case he's getting too orange over here, bear in mind that we're still adding another orange filter or orange color cast on top. I'm going to brush this out a little bit further. Okay, something like that. Maybe also let's duplicate this layer again. Come on, Jay, because I want to have it really bright in the center. And on our second layer here, we can actually work a little bit rougher. So again, B with the brush. This time 50% opacity. Just change it on the keyboard again. And I'm literally going to switch the foreground colors again and just brush very roughly around it. Just one big brush, because I want to keep it a little bit stronger just in the center, as I said. Okay, on the right hand side, you guys can also see how I brush now with this whole new mask. Again, I'm going to brush a little bit on the top so it's not too yellowish on the top. a little bit more down here. Okay, degrading that a bit more, and a little bit over here. I just want to get a really nice punchy center. Okay, before and after, before and after. It's still a bit strong. We can maybe just take the opacity to 70%. Again, play with this as well. Okay, great. So again, I've created again a new flare in here. We can actually write a flare, create a new group for that. And as well on top of that, I'm going to put a new adjustment layer. Again, a curves adjustment layer. Now this time I'm just going to add a bit of contrast to the whole image. Okay, just a little bit, and push also my highlights just a little bit. Okay, and take the whole darks just up a little bit again. Okay, again, before and after, before and after. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit closer. Now what I still want to do also is just put a little bit of a vignetting effect on this whole image. So the focus of the eye goes a little bit onto him and into the center and leads you directly into the center as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to the marking tool, elliptical marking tool to be correct. And we're just going to make a huge selection over this, something like this. Okay, and I'm going to feather this. So I'm going to go to select, modify, feather. I'm going to hit 250 pixels, the max. Okay, set once, again, select, modify, and again feather 250 pixels. Because I want to feather at 500, but you can't do it at once, so you have to do it double. Okay, so we have this nice feathering now, and the selection. What I want to do now is go again back to adjustments, and again select a curves adjustment layer. So once I select it now, this selection will also be affected on a mask here. Have a look. Select it, and there you guys can directly see it already. Here we have a nice mask with a really nice feathered mask with a soft edge. Okay, but now it's obviously affecting the inside. If I'm going to tweak this, you will see that the inside gets really bright. So I need to invert this. Very simple, just select the mask again, press Command I, and that has been inverted. Ta-da! Cool. Okay, so very simple again. I can now just take my curve here and darken the whole area a little bit. But obviously the saturation goes up. So I don't want to increase the saturation here at the bottom. As you guys can see, it gets quite dark reddish. So what I want to do, I want to still keep this dark gradient, maybe just a little bit up. The levels, the curves here, just a bit. Okay, go back to adjustments, and I'm going to go to hue saturation adjustment layer. Select that. And I'm going to clip this hue and saturation layer now to my curves levels adjustment layer. So hold Alt, go between the layers, and this little arrow appears. Just click, and that will directly snap to this layer. Cool. Okay, so saturation, I just want to take the saturation down just a little bit. So the whole saturation and the color here from the floor doesn't get, or from the sand doesn't get too intense. Again, before and after, before and after, because I'm still going to add a bit of an orange color cast on top. Otherwise it's going to get too much saturation, too much colory. Okay, so let's select just the last three layers, Command G again, and we can just write here V for vignetting or vignette, something like that. Okay, so that's my vignette now. Okay, so we created a nice vignette. Also get a bit of contrast here again onto his head and helmet. So just check if that is not too hard. Actually kind of suits this image. Obviously we also added a bit of a contrast layer here, so adding a bit more contrast in that. Cool. Okay, zooming out again, and it's actually a pity that we don't have any clouds in this shot. I think with clouds this shot would have just looked even nicer and really great, and it would just suit the image. What I want to do now as well is just again work a little bit with dodge and burn, because dodge and burn just brings out the character way more, and you can create such a cool epic looking image just with a bit of dodge and burn. So again, I'm going to create a new layer, press Command I, M for marking tool, right click, and we're going to fill this again with 50% gray. Now you guys are most probably asking, why is he still working with this 50% gray layer option on dodge and burn? Why don't work with curves? I kind of think for this whole color suiting and whole image here with all the wrinkles on the clothing and stuff, the gray dodge and burn method works the best. Also, I've created a free tutorial which you can have a look at. Just check on our YouTube channel. It should be somewhere under best of 3 dodge and burn techniques. Okay, let's switch on the dodge and burn. I'm also going to switch this to soft layer and just literally going to keep one dodge and burn layer. Also rename that to D and B. Command G, a new group, D and B as well. Okay, let's select dodge and burn. We're going to go a little bit closer. And now I'm going to work just on the guy. I'm literally not working too much on the background. Again, B for brush, and then I'm going to press 0 and 7, which switches my whole opacity to 70 now because I'm too slow. I need to do it quicker. So again, 0.7, and this basically means just 7% opacity. Okay, so now we have our brush. We're going to make it a little bit smaller, the brush. And as well, I'm going to press Ctrl Alt to feather this completely. Again, hardness set to 0. And make my brush a little bit smaller. Okay, so for the first step, what I'm going to do is just darken, basically burning now again a little bit on my image. So literally just doing this also now really roughly today. Spend a bit more time when you do this. Okay, going to brush and darken just him a little bit over here. And now first of all, I'm just very roughly burning all the big edges. Then after that, I'm going to go into all the little small detailed areas. Okay, a little bit of his shoes, and I really love the flare that it gives this really bright area over here. So we don't want to get rid of that. Okay, a little bit over here. I'm going to burn just his hair a little bit and give him a little bit more features also over this beard. Okay, a little bit over the helmet maybe. Under his helmet, just to giving a nice contrast. Then as well, I'm going to work now very close here just on his eyebrows, next to the nose, under the nose here, a little bit on his lips, and now on all these little wrinkles. We're going to zoom a little bit closer in a second. Well, actually we can do it just, as you guys can see, I'm changing my brush size really frequently, so again, just brushing in all these little areas. Okay, great. To just also show this whole roughness and show his character a bit more. Okay, before I continue now with all the burning here, I'm actually going to switch again with X, so white foreground color, and just dodge a little bit and brighten certain areas again. Also on the shirt, just a little bit rougher, but on his features here, just where we have some nice highlights. On the hair, also a little bit more, so that really jumps. Okay, also on the nose a little bit, over here, cheeks a little bit, and I'm doing just like patches now actually. A little bit smaller again, getting that nice highlight on the lips, and one big stroke over the helmet, so we just get a bit more detail over the helmet. Maybe that was one too much, so I'm going to go one brush back. Okay, great. And a little bit further. Yeah, and I'm just going to go through the image a little bit. Literally all these little wrinkles here, we can work on those a little bit further. Okay, a little bit more. And now over the pants, I'm going to be a little bit rougher. Just also make a huge bum over here so it looks really bright from the sun flare there. Okay, a little bit smaller with the brush over the pants and a little bit more detail on the shoe. I'm going to zoom out again. And now I'm going to do it overall. So literally make my brush super big. White foreground color please, and I'm just going to switch to opacity of maybe 3%. Still in dodge and burn mode, just dodging like this circle over here. Okay, one big circle. As you guys can see, this gets brighter a little bit, so I'm going to brighten this area a little bit. Obviously there's enough sunlight still coming through. A little bit here on the background. Again, switch now and do the opposite, and just with my vignetting here, darken a little bit. Also the foreground and the tree, and then just a bit here from the sky. Okay, great. Then as well, just a little bit on the bike. Literally, we still opacity 3. Shoes a bit. Yeah, getting some really nice details. Or actually dodge and burn details. Great, okay, so there we can see it also now before and after, before and after. So just a bit more concentrated on him. I did it a bit roughly. So spend a bit more time when you do this. Also, again, 0.7. And I'm just going to go a little bit in here, add a bit more darkness to all these little wrinkles over here. Okay, zoom out. And jeans, with jeans, you can work so long on jeans to get some really cool textures out of that. Okay, I'm going to zoom out again. It's a bit rough now. Okay, then also take the opacity maybe just to 90% or 80%, say 85, before and after, before and after. Okay, let's zoom out again. Now, for the next step that I still want to do is last touches here, is just again add a new adjustment layer here, as well with a solid color. So again, solid color would come up, and I'm going to pick just like an orange here, so we get a really nice orange tint. Not pink, somewhere orange here. Okay, and as well going to switch this obviously to color blending option now. Switch color. This is affecting the image completely too strong, so I'm going to just take it down maybe to a very low opacity of around, what, 5%. Maybe that is even a little bit too strong. So again, before and after, before and after. So just giving the overall image a little bit of an orange touch. Okay, just a bit. We can actually take that maybe just to 4%. Okay, then as well, for the really last step almost, going to create a new layer, B for the brush as well. Make it a little bit bigger, hold Control Alt, just check. I want to put the hardness to 0%. Now as well with my foreground colors here, I just want to pick a nice orange here from somewhere. It's a bit too light though. So as you guys can see also here down way on the tree, and we're getting kind of a nice orange here. Maybe a little bit more darker. Hit OK. And I'm still working just with 10% opacity here. And I'm literally just going to make this area a little bit more orangey. Down here a dot. And down here a dot, just to get a bit more of that sun flare effect going through, and a bit of that dust that's in the air showing that out a little bit. A little bit on him. Okay, and we can take that opacity maybe also down to just 50%. And this is obviously just a preference thing, if you do want to add this or not. It's obviously your personal taste as well. So again, before and after, before and after. It's still a bit too strong. I might even take it just to 40%, so it's just a little bit. Now for the very last step, I'm going to go to just select both of these, press Command G and right here color, and go back to adjustments and select the hue and saturation color adjustment layer. Then as well go into my neutral channels, and I normally or most of the time also work with this. So again, what I will do is take my magentas and just check if I can add a bit of magentas in here, just make it like a +2 or something, +3. Yellow, not taking the yellow out too much. +2 as well. Darks, I'm going to brighten it maybe just to plus or -4 actually, and then go to the dark channels here and take the darks down a little bit, so we're just giving it a nice contrast. Okay, yellows, we can also play with those a little bit. I don't want to take the yellows too far, so literally again moving them a little bit to the left, which we're getting a lot of magentas over here. So again back. Great, yeah, and that's basically all already. So again, before and after, before and after, just a bit of a color pop again. We can actually add that again to color, minimize the group, press Command Alt Shift E, master shortcut, and we are going to merge all layers together to one final layer. Again, I'm going to write here final, and that's so far all I'm going to do for this quick tutorial. If I would still work on this image, as I said earlier, I'm going to spend way more time on cleaning up and retouching all these areas down here, maybe even tackling this pole. But so far, yeah, just try to clean up more of the image. That will just bring you a nicer image towards the end. Yeah, okay, so also let's have a look quickly before and after. So again, your before and your after, before and after. If the saturation is still a bit too strong, think about it. You can still take the adjustments and also change the hue and saturation down a little bit, or if you wanted to create a little bit more of a duller effect instead of this punchy, orangey, yeah, this strong contrasty look. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's basically all about Toby. He looks sexy, I would say. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this portrait retouch. Then as well, if you did like this, hit me up with a thumbs. Great, yeah. Then as well, don't forget, on Wednesday we're launching a behind the scenes from the pro tutorial. Thursday we have question answer day / advice. Friday we have light talk. Yeah, that's basically all for the week already. We've got a new schedule here on Retutpro. So yeah, don't forget to check that out. Thumbs up if you liked the episodes, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next week for next time for a new video. Cool, alright, see ya, bye bye.